It was my first week at a new school. I didn't know anyone, I wasn't sure where I fit in, and I was way more nervous than I let on. I walked into the lunchroom and I didn't see a single spot that felt safe. I felt awkward, out of place, and if I'm being honest, I was about 2 seconds from turning around and hiding in the bathroom with my sandwich. But then it happened. Someone caught my eye, smiled, and waved me over. She scooted her things over, made room, and said just 7 words. "You can sit here if you want." That moment lasted maybe 10 seconds, but it completely changed how I felt. She didn't know my name. She wasn't a class officer or a team captain. She didn't have an important title or a big speech. But in that moment, she was a leader. Hi, my name is Isabella Whitlock, your Southeast Area Vice President, and this is Oklahoma FFA's Leadership on Demand.
Leadership on Demand is proudly presented by Oklahoma's Electric Cooperatives.
That day in the lunchroom, I learned something I will never forget. Leadership is less about being seen and more about seeing others. When someone says leadership, most of us picture something loud. Someone on a stage with a microphone, the person running the meeting, or the one with all the answers. But what if leadership isn't always about being out front? What if leadership is about looking around and being someone who makes space for others? In FFA, we talk a lot about service, teamwork, and connection, but those things don't start with a title, they start with awareness. Think about this. Who always gets left out in your class or chapter? Who's the person that never gets asked for their opinion? Who's often sitting alone on the bus ride home from contest? Real leadership begins when we slow down and start noticing. The quote by John Maxwell says it best. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. There's a few simple steps you can take to build the kind of leadership that makes people feel seen. First, pause and look around. Leaders are the ones who notice, not just the obvious stuff, but the little things. Who's been quieter lately? Who looks overwhelmed? Who hasn't been included? Leadership starts with observation. Second, make room for someone. This could look like making space at your table, shifting a group project to include someone new, reaching out to an 8th grade FFA member after a meeting. You don't need a gavel to make a difference. Sometimes you just need an empty chair and a little bit of kindness. Third, lead with listening. Don't assume, don't rush to fix or respond. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit with someone, look them in the eye, and say, "Tell me more." That is where trust is built. FFA is full of high-achieving students, but behind every resume and record book is a real person who wants to belong. You can be the reason someone feels at home in this organization. You can be the reason someone signs up for a new contest, or the reason that someone finally believes that they have what it takes. Not because you had all the answers, but because you noticed them. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be a leader. You don't need a jacket with a title stitched under your name to make a difference. You just have to be present, pay attention, and act with kindness. So here is my challenge for you. Be someone who notices the empty chair, and be the reason someone feels like they belong. Leadership isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like, "You can sit here if you want." Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep showing up for others and keep leading with heart. See you soon.